In today's episode, Singapore throws up some rain and safety cars to keep us on our toes as we look to try and chase after Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship, as he has emerged as the main rival. He's got actually quite a healthy advantage over both of our drivers and everyone else then, with the gaps in the standings. Last time out in Baku, I mean, we had to do it all from the opening lap to the last lap. It was an incredible comeback when you really think about it. But at the same time, Verstappen coming second, that consistency has paid off, and he's still actually basically gained, it felt like, in the standings, as he's on a whopping 141 compared to our 128 and 126 with Piastri and Antonelli. That's quite a sizable gap, especially for a career mode on an F1 game, and especially considering the season that has come so far. I think only a couple of episodes ago there were a mere 9 points covering the top 6 drivers, and it's really blown up a little bit, and the consistent ones have been rewarded. And we've been consistent. We're there, second and third, but Verstappen's just had that extra edge. And although Piastri, now we got our second win with him last time out, Verstappen's still the one on top and still the one we need to chase down. And speaking of Piastri, we are actually going to continue to drive as him and build on that momentum with a race win, but it's only because we need to make it fair, as we did 2 races in a row previously with Antonelli in order to drive his home Grand Prix. So although this comes at a pretty crucial time and good timing for Piastri's sake for the momentum we just had from Baku, this is simply a case of just trying to make it fair between our 2 drivers as we go into Singapore.
It is one of our great cinematic settings of the season. Welcome to Singapore. We're under the floodlights with the walls close and pole position up for grabs.
Coming to Singapore in this season kind of feels like almost a new circuit, because I think it's been about 2 seasons since we've had Singapore on the calendar. And always a bit of a tricky place. It's the longest Grand Prix on the calendar. Tyre wear is always a factor. And as I've alluded to already, rain is forecast for this Sunday. Actually, 2 different bouts of rain, which I'll show you later, the forecast metric. So that could be very, very interesting come the Grand Prix. But right now, it's just about trying to qualify as well as we can. And, it is a street circuit, so, track position does matter, but you can make overtakes around here. It just sometimes is a little bit tricky when you're balancing, trying to go for a move, plus the tyres overheating especially is a big factor. Tyre temps is always a big thing here. And in Q1, well, it may be straightforward for us, but it's not for Yuki Tsunoda, as he falls foul. Not for the first time in recent races, I think that's the second time in the last 3-4 races where he's been knocked out in Q1. So Williams, Porsche as a whole, you feel like they had such a strong overall first half of the season. Obviously started off awful with 2 DNS for Tsunoda, but they've kind of been tripping up a little bit as of late. Ever since, I almost feel like it's karma for what Aaron and Tsunoda kind of did as a duo to ourselves at Zandvoort Reverse. Kind of karma in that way, that they're now starting to trip up. So it is falling away from them a little bit, and as I said, emerging is just the brute force that is Max Verstappen. Ferrari are there or thereabouts, but we're definitely the ones nearest to him, chasing him down, and definitely the cars in form off the back of the win in Baku. Although we are cutting it fine here in Q2. We only narrowly started this second flying lap, you would have seen, with the timer, and we make up for getting on the curb and getting spat out on the first racing lap, and we get up into P4. Antonelli, though, has been looking mighty around here, which is making up for maybe a bit of a quieter time in the last race, you got to say. Verstappen's up there, though. Ferrari with Albon, strangely, is up there in second place. Albon has kind of become a bit stronger in recent races, whereas Ocon obviously has been the lead Ferrari man most of the time. As we're now into this top 10 shootout, this is our one and only flying lap, and we just had a massive amount of oversteer, but not as much as the Cadillac in Q3. Maloney, I think that is, by his helmet, oversteering into the wall. Rear end hits the wall and shears the tyre off. It's quite a realistic crash, to be honest, in terms of, the suspension really will cave in if you thump it with that much force. So that's a DNF in the middle of the top 10 shootout. We come across the line and we're, oh wow, 0.0 1:0.85 off Antonelli. That was the first lap. He then came in for a second blinder and is nearly 4/10 quicker than us. But even with the mistake that I made, that kind of relates to that 4/10s. We're still second place. So quite amazingly, like we did in Monza, we are 1-2. It's our second front row lockout of the season. I think maybe the only time in the entire series, all seasons, we've had 2 front row lockouts ever in the same season, which is kind of crazy to think about. And obviously this is a massive positive for us with Verstappen down in 7th place. But you can see, look at the time gaps, like there's 1/10 covering P3 to P7. So it is game on in the race tomorrow. But there's going to be that spanner in the work of rain, because this is the forecast. But knowing Verstappen obviously in real life, you know, sometimes very much does translate into the game. We know how good he can be in the rain. So that might play into his advantage. But like we said in Monza, with a 1-2, surely this is advantage in our court. Let's go to the grid.
It's the Singapore Grand Prix, where Sebastian Vettel has the most wins here with 5. Who will be lifting the trophy today here at the Marina Bay Circuit? It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. A fantastic effort from Andrea Kimi Antonelli puts him on pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Ocon, Gasly, Franco Colapinto and Lawson, Verstappen, Albon, Aaron and Zane Maloney, Sainz, Bortoletto, Taylor Barnard, Pepe Marti, Stroll, Doohan, Lando Norris and Yuki Tsunoda, Crawford, Martins, O'Sullivan and Nikola Zolov completes the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Welcome to the commentary box and welcome to Naomi Schiff. I'm Alex Jakes. Naomi, this is going to be interesting. Now, those final hours before a race, did you have a routine?
Well, every driver certainly has their own way of preparing themselves before a race. But I can tell you that pre-race rituals are a real thing. When I was in go-karting, I used to touch every wheel in a specific sequence before I got into the kart. And then I stepped up to cars and had a specific set of fireproof base layers just for race day. So watch the drivers when they're on the grid. Some may be sitting on the floor and isolating, others may be up to other things that they do. But these little things really help their minds get ready for the race.
So tyre choice-wise, bearing in mind what the forecast looked like, I thought it actually made sense to start on the hard tyre. Antonelli's gone the same way, Ocon as well, but the Red Bull's on mediums, which is quite interesting. So they're hoping the mediums can go long enough till that wet period. But little do I know, we'd get a radio message.
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain.
5 minutes. I'm sorry, but the forecast icons didn't suggest 5 minutes.
It looks like rain is inbound and we're expecting it in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes until the rain. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Brilliant. I asked Mark directly just to make sure, because he gave me some unsolicited info, and then I wanted to ask again just to really double down on it. So yeah, it seems pretty accurate that rain is coming in 5 minutes. That's a lot earlier than I thought, and really now it's advantage Red Bull with the mediums, and anyone else that chose the mediums. I think maybe even Max Verstappen has gone for the medium tyre, so this might come back to bite ourselves and Antonelli and Ocon. This start will be crucial then, just trying to maybe frustrate the medium tyre runners. It might be inevitable that they overtake us before the rain starts to fall. Let's see as we go to lights out for the Singapore Grand Prix, and we are underway. It's a good start for both ourselves and Antonelli. We have to go a little bit defensive into turn 1 because behind Gasly got a great getaway, and look at that, both Red Bulls either side of Ocon. So straight away the Red Bull Ford's decision to go on mediums has been vindicated. They've got Ocon immediately. Verstappen's up to 6th place. He's going to be on the back of Ocon, and it's just ourselves and Antonelli remaining in 1st and 2nd on these hard tyres. But Colapinto is straight on us, but we are actually going to get our head down, and we have a chance to maybe overtake Antonelli. We're being very cautious versus our teammate, of course. We go for this switch from right to left, but just then Antonelli did so well just to slam the door shut. He he just kept it open a little bit, I would have gone for the move, honestly, on the outside there, but also have to be a bit overcautious with our teammate. You know, at this stage of the season, even though we're, you know, getting to the last third of the season, it has been very, very easy, you know, with the R2 drivers. You know, we haven't had Antonelli versus Piastri that much. It's been very, very good synergy. I want to keep that going, especially now where it feels like we need both our drivers to work together and get as many points as we can as a unit, just to take points off Verstappen because of that advantage he's got. So yeah, just not wanting to be over aggressive, eager to keep the pace up, because you can see on the mini-map, the two Red Bulls are right there, and they're the only ones on our tail. But as we go through the next left-hander, big swap of oversteer in the dirtier Antonelli, then going a little bit wide as the front end doesn't want to turn in, and immediately Colapinto is on us. We've only got 7% battery as well, so we don't even have that much to defend with, and so the Red Bulls are out for blood on lap 3. Antonelli has now got some breathing room thanks to me, basically, but I suppose that's exactly what I just said I kind of wanted. If I can't get first place, I want my teammate to, because we both need to take points off the Dutchman. But right now I am just accepting my fate, to be honest, of the two Red Bulls getting past us. They're on mediums. They are going to be quicker. They look significantly quicker. If I can just stick with Gasly though, use his DRS, I'll be happy just to get towed along by the Frenchman. Meanwhile, behind, you can see in the top left, Verstappen is overtaken Ocon. He is also on the mediums, but he's 3.7 away. But it's started to rain. Look at the halo. Look at the top of the chassis. It's very subtle right now, but now it's not. As we go off circuit, as some droplets actually go on the TV cam screen, it's getting damp out there, and I am feeling the understeer. I mean, just into turn 1 there, that nose did not want to go to the apex whatsoever. And by the time we get through over the bridge in the middle of sector 2, we're, you know, bashing walls a little bit. We're fighting the steering wheel just to keep the car going in a straight line. And Mark has told us about coming in for intermediates. This is going to be awkward though, because both Red Bull and ourselves will have to double stack. As we go through the exit of this right-hander though, Gasly incredibly slow. What's going on? What's going on with the Red Bull driver? We tap the wall because we don't have enough grip to even make that subtle left-hander turn, because the rain is coming down so quickly. It's changing in an instant. But I don't know what happened with Gasly there. He had a massive issue on the exit of that corner, but I am tactically slowing up. It's maybe a little bit illegal in real life and a bit cheeky there to do so in the pit lane entry, but I'm trying to make my double stack as little pain as possible. It's probably not going to really make much of a difference, because on the game, compared to real life, the double stack's a bit clunky, as you have to wait for this animation, then they're not quite ready in the same way they would be in real life. But it's still a pretty good 2.1. Lost a little bit of time, but in the end, I didn't need to worry about Gasly jumping me, because because Red Bull earlier in the pit lane, he actually got held up by a lot of cars coming down the pit lane. So Verstappen is actually the one I was maybe trying to combat with that double stack issue, because of course Verstappen was miles ahead of Lance Stroll. So now, under intermediate conditions, we're actually still not in the correct position, because Albon and Bortoleto leave it an entire lap to come in. Don't know what Ferrari and Honda are playing at, but now we're back into third place. Antonelli still leads, but Colapinto is 1 second within him. There's no DRS, of course, but he's there pressurizing him, but we are miles away, and in fact we're feeling the pressure from Verstappen. What did I say earlier about this being a great phase maybe for the championship leader? I'm trying to fight this as much as I can, because it's going to help obviously Piastri out, but it's going to help Antonelli out even more if we can keep Verstappen at bay. Safety car is out. That's going to make things interesting though, because that's going to bunch us up, so maybe there is a chance for us to still fight for more in this race with Piastri. But I've got to say, the pace ain't looking great on intermediates. I'm not feeling too quick in this wet period. It's a Cadillac. Oh, what? Oh, Jesus. It's deja vu for the Cadillac team. It's the other driver, Martins, who's had a tank slapper and crashed in the same way as his teammate did in qualifying. But this time, he's taken out the Mercedes of Lando Norris with him, as I think the Merc was just really close behind him. So I think he just got caught up in the rebounding ricochet off the wall.
It's still not a perfect situation, but I don't think we've got cause to move on to a different tyre yet. Okay, let's get ready to go racing again. The safety car is in this lap. When the field accelerates, remember there's no overtaking until the timing line. Safety car in this lap.
Right, so yeah, safety car is coming in this lap, but that radio message probably alludes to we actually might be getting back to dries, and you can see actually the rain stopped falling. There's no droplets on the screen. You can't see any rain spray around the halo. Maybe a bit of spray off the tyres on the ground because it's still a bit of water on the surface, on the curbs, but make no mistake, like we saw in the forecast indicator, this is going from dry to wet to dry to maybe wet again by the end of the race. I wanted to really get on the back of Colapinto and make a move, but immediately as we went through that final corner, understeer central. Thankfully, I look behind me and there's a sigh of relief because Verstappen's also had a lot of understeer as, oh God, all over the shop as the curb spits us out. It's probably got a bit of standing water on in that curb on the right-hand side. And so I was about to say, Verstappen facing the same issues as the tyre warm-up isn't quite there on the inters behind the very slow safety car. But we had a bit of a mare there. We've survived it, and we're actually going to survive long enough to get to the end of the same lap, and we're going to come in straight away. I think I'm having such a difficulty driving. I think it's time for dries. The AI might not think so, but I reckon it is time for dries, and I think I could even jump Colapinto by just coming in now and getting that undercut going, because I simply just could not turn the car, and I feel like that means it's time for slicks, even though DRS is still not enabled, and that generally is the point where the game is indicating to you it's time to swap back to the slick tyres. I'm going to call it early, go for the gamble here, because we've had no pace on the inter. Oh, slow stop, brilliant, 4.4. We've had no pace on that inter. So I'm almost trying to manifest this being a dry period, because I don't want to do any more intermediate driving, because we weren't quick at all through there as we just navigated the pit lane exit. It's a little bit slippery, I can't lie, but oh, there you go. DRS enabled. Surely that means this is perfect timing. This is going to be a huge finesse on the drivers around us. We definitely should be able to jump Colapinto then, I would say, and then get pretty close to Antonelli, who's only going to now come in on this lap, as is everyone else. There you go. Teammate is in on this lap. Everyone will be coming in off their inters onto the dries. We're already out there, and we're... No! No! Oh my God, you're kidding me. Oh, look at that delta. I have to slow down by 5 seconds. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, this delta is so low. I had to literally come to a standstill there for a moment to get that delta time down. Oh, we've been had. We've been absolutely had. That is potentially the worst time safety car ever in terms of... I got confirmation that our plan was going to work with that teammate in the pits message, and then a couple of seconds later, the safety car comes out. Oh, brother. Oh, everyone's got a free pit stop, a much quicker pit stop than us, and instead of coming out in what should have been P2, we're out in P13. We've got Lance Stroll ahead of us now. Fabulous. Really, really brilliant. I mean, the only silver lining is Tsunoda's behind us in P14, so he's had a bit of a torrid time in this race. Him and Williams Porsche will be kind of feeling like their season's getting away from them. And it's a bit of a shame, because I really thought there was going to be a bigger rivalry between ourselves and our old engine supplier. I mean, there definitely has been this season. It's been very hot and tense in certain situations, but, over the course of the season... In terms of the mathematical actual title battle, it's between us and the McLaren and Verstappen, and Williams Porsche not really factoring into it yet. I mean, there's maybe still some time to come, but, with Tsunoda down in 13th place, it's not looking that great for him individually, as we've got... What? We've got people still coming in on the safety car entry. Ocon! Oh, wow. Ferrari, what are you doing? Ocon comes in as the safety car comes in. How did they not come in for a free pit stop on the safety car? I'll never know. That's for them to try and answer in the debriefs, as we're up to P9 then, as we gain 2 free positions and then 1 on Stroll on track, and now looking to overtake Maloney, the only Cadillac left in the race. couldn't quite go on the inside there. We go to the inside for the next left-hander, get the elbow out and get up into P8, but that was fine margins, and it's going to be fine margins, I suspect, for most of these overtakes as we're trying to desperately claw back a comeback. We should be minimum in P3. You know, if not in P2 getting Colapinto, we should have been just in third place still. The fact we're having to fight back now through these top 10 positions is ridiculous and just shows how bad that luck was with the safety car. And that's off. No, I thought we were in a good vibe, you know. Piastri, we just won the race, and Baku, qualified second. I thought, oh, hang on a minute, are we getting some good momentum here with Piastri? But now this race has kicked us in the teeth, and now having to come back through on the Audi with DRS, finally make that overtake, but that took a long while. That took us a whole lap to get the Audi, but the pace was actually pretty surprisingly okay for Barnard, at least, whilst he had us behind him. But now in clean air, we've pushed away. We're setting a purple sector here and there, but look at this train going. Colapinto, second place, holding up Verstappen, Aaron, Gasly, and now we're at the tail end of that. We can't even see where Antonelli is on the minimap. Andrea, Kimi Antonelli dominate. Look, I just saw him on the minimap. He's miles away. Kimi is dominating this one. Unreal stuff for him as we try and make a move on Gasly on the exit of the hairpin. Can't quite make it because he's going to squeeze us towards the wall. Oh, big bit of oversteer for Pierre Gasly. Both of us with DRS open. Can we make a move on the inside? Oh, it's close. It's close, but we make the dive and we get up into sixth place. It was pretty close already with Gasly beforehand in the race. That was a bit of a deja vu kind of moment. We got it done. We're up into P6 now, and can we get on the back of Aaron? Sorry, I missed a driver actually. Lawson's also in the mixer there in P4, and then look at this. Ferrari 17-18. This looks like the Ferrari of last season. What are they playing at? What are they playing at? So we've got Williams, Porsche, not in a good way, and Ferrari are now throwing it away. It seems like everyone is trying to bottle it and just make it a 2 versus 1 situation. Jaguar versus the lone McLaren of Max Verstappen, it would seem, in this last part of the season, as we try and go for the move on Aaron, who's trying to make a move on Lawson himself. So we kind of almost catch Aaron just unawares a little bit. He was too focused on the Honda, now having to defend against us, but the damage is done. We're up into P5, and of course we're on mediums. You may have noticed all those guys on hards. So we have got a much quicker tyre right now as Lawson comes in off his mediums. I was going to say Lawson might be looking good as well on the medium tyre, but Honda don't think he can get to the end. There's only 7 laps. I feel like you just risk it. Even if you've got some bad tyre wear, I think you just risk it for track position. No, Lawson comes in then. I think we can go to the end. I think the tyre wear was pretty good in the first part of the race on the hard, so I think therefore on the medium should be all right, you know. I don't think we had any tyre wear really on the hard tyre. It was more just a case of the tyre not rubbering in, whereas the medium is very much rubbering in. As it's Antonelli nearly 5 seconds ahead then of Colapinto on lap 25. Verstappen then ourselves in P4, but Verstappen crucially has DRS on Colapinto, so that's helping him out. We're pulling away from Gasly and Aaron, who are in their own battle, but Antonelli is surprising me as an AI. I think for the first time, you got to let me know in the comments. I think for the first time, Antonelli's AI is really impressing me. Like, we have, Antonelli, he's touted as this maybe next big superstar of Formula One. We've not really seen that in the game yet until this episode. This seems like a real surprise dominance that we've not seen from his AI yet in the season so far, and I'm liking it. I'm liking it. This is the sort of vibe we want, as we are obviously going to swap over to driving as him in the next episode. But lap 27, crucially, Verstappen's not got DRS, and so he is a sitting duck now. That DRS is unbelievable when you don't have it yourself to defend, as Aaron overtakes Gasly behind to get up into P5. But yeah, all we had to do was wait patiently for Verstappen to lose DRS on Colapinto, and we got him straight away. Oh! The McLaren wagging its front end. I think Verstappen's struggling. I think that McLaren is falling off the cliff, surprisingly, on the hards. This is kind of looking like one of those races, a lot like last season for McLaren and Verstappen, where they start strong and then all of a sudden there's just this waft of just horrendous race pace. And this looks to be it, because now on lap 30, it's the second last lap. and Verstappen is looking all over in his mirrors. Aaron on his right, Gasly also there on the right, looking to follow through the Williams Porsche. Oh, it's devastation for McLaren and the Dutchman, because he's down 2 positions in one sector, and it's happy days for Antonelli in P1 especially, gaining a load of points, but even ourselves with Piastri in 3rd, that's a decent crop of points. So this is big. This actually might already swing the momentum back to Antonelli. Never say never, because on the F1 game especially, things can change in one race, and they might just do. For Kimi Antonelli, he wins his 2nd race of the season, and this is impressive because his AI won this 2nd race. I've had to win both of Piastri's races for himself. So that's, very, very impressive for Antonelli as an AI driver, and will take over the reins of the Italian next episode. It's a good 3rd place comeback. I'm a bit annoyed we couldn't go for the win. That safety car screwed us over, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
This has been a superb drive. It's victory for Andrea Kimi Antonelli.
There was never a moment of doubt today. You could tell that they completely had it under control, and that is a sign of greatness.
Yeah, a really good drive for Kimi Antonelli as an AI. Really, really showed some great pedigree there. And that was such dominance. Really convincing dominance. Some crazy results there with Maloney also getting some points for Cadillac. But there you go. Antonelli, like that, in 1st place now. The gap is now 2 points from him to Verstappen. Then it's 8 points from Antonelli to Piastri. So things are very close between the top 3 drivers. But like I said earlier in the commentary, it seems like Ferrari, Red Bull, and Williams Porsche, all of them, they're just taking turns at bottling it and just falling away out of the championship fight. And this is turning into, can Verstappen make up for last season and actually be able to fight at the end in Abu Dhabi? And can we still be there with either our drivers of Antonelli and Piastri? Because Verstappen's been a tough cookie, but races like this definitely do help. Guys, if you have enjoyed it, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.